Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Andre, and I have some leftover brisket. I was craving brisket, but I was also craving pasta. And I'm going to marry these two together, and we're going to create a beautiful leftover brisket bolognese and pasta. I'm hungry, and let's get going. And honestly, I'm keeping this as simple as possible. So we've got the brisket. We've got a couple onions, we've got some beautiful vine-ripened tomatoes, a couple cloves of garlic. I'm just going to prep this real quick. There's going to be a couple other ingredients, but they're in the fridge still. And we're going to get cooking the sauce. With the tomatoes, we're just going to dice them fairly small, nothing complicated here. I'm just going to show you real quick. He's trying to get away. Because we're going to let this stew down anyways. So that's all I'm doing. Going to get it like that. Do all these quick and then everything else. And we're not doing anything fancy with the brisket. We're going to just dice it down fairly small. It's already cooked. It's super tender. I just want this small so that when we throw it into the sauce, it breaks down even more and becomes part of the sauce because we're not grinding it. We're not using ground meat. But this will just fall apart and be an awesome sauce. Now, this doesn't have to be brisket. If you had a leftover pork roast, beef roast, some chicken, turkey, whatever, you could do the same thing. But I love brisket. I had some left over. Just nice and small dices like this. That way we'll give it a chance to really fall apart. I want this sauce to be rustic. I don't need it to be super smooth, super fine. That's not what we're looking for today. Got everything prepped. I got my spices ready. All we're going to do is get this thing going. A little bit of olive oil. Get this all cooking. Let that heat up a little bit. We're just going to throw in the onions and garlic first and get them translucent. We don't need to caramelize them or do anything fancy like that. This is just a very rustic but a fantastic sauce. Don't be scared of tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is not hard to do. That's why I love doing it myself all the time. And it's easy to do. In they go. This is going to take a few minutes and we'll be at the point where we need to be. Beautiful sound. And before I get too far, you know what? It was late in the day. Well, it is late in the day. I didn't want to make my own pasta. It is totally fine to buy pasta. And I have this beautiful, thicker egg noodle pasta. It's going to go fantastic with this. And we're going to cook this off after this is done. Because literally this stuff takes 7 to 8 minutes to cook. It's fantastic. I just didn't want to forget about that. Onions are basically where I want them, which is great. Now, the tomatoes. And yes, it looks like a lot of tomatoes, but they will reduce because, like onions, tomatoes are a lot water. Just going to give this a quick mix and we're just going to let it simmer down for a bit. One thing I am going to do before I let this go too far, I'm going to add my salt. And I'm going to keep it fairly, I'm going to say traditional spice-wise. I'm going to use some oregano, basil, thyme, a little bit of black pepper, and that's it. We're going to add it now, but once this is reduced a bit, we're going to do another tasting just to see where we're at. And then we can adjust if we need to. Not a lot of time, because thyme is fairly strong. Give this a quick mix just to get it all incorporated, and then let it keep simmering. Okay, this is reducing, combining nicely. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the brisket, because I want this sauce to be one beautiful mixture. So it's still got a ways to go, but I'm figuring let's put this in now, let it just all fall apart and become a fantastic meal. It's coming along nicely, but I forgot one thing. We are going to add some whipping cream to make this a very smooth and rich sauce. I just think it's going to add to the whole thing. It's going to be more like a rosé sauce, but that's okay. I'm going to add a bunch. If you're going to eat well, eat well. Beautiful. This is just going to simmer now. Let it reduce a little bit more to where I want it. Taking a little longer than I wanted, but that's okay. You can't rush things sometimes. This is almost where I want it. I got the water heating up. I'm going to cook the noodles on the stove, just that way I keep this going really low. Once the noodles are done, we're going to plate this and finally try it. I'm so hungry and it smells so good. You guys ready? I hope you are. Just going to take some of this pasta, cooked al dente. Oh, not all of it, not all of it. And I just have a touch of Parmesan left. Not a lot, but just enough. You guys ready? Oh. You know what? I'm going to take some of the sauce. You know what? Brisket anyway is fantastic. That is so good. I would love to share it with you guys. You know, we don't have smell-o-vision yet, but that is another total winner. Total comfort food meal right there. You know, you totally get that smokiness from the brisket, but it's not overwhelming. That cream gives it that richness. Just enough spice, just enough salt. The noodles are done al dente, so a little bit firm, which is perfect. It just falls, oh, so good. Enough of me stuffing my face in front of you guys. I'm gonna go finish off camera. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. You guys, anybody can do this. Like I said, it doesn't have to be brisket. It could be any leftover chicken, turkey, any beef roast, pork roast. Just get creative with it and have fun. Eat well. Enjoy your food. And guys, show some support. Hit that like, subscribe. Leave me some comments. I will always read them and get back to you. And as always, happy eating.